This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Leslie Bibb about Palm Royale. How are you, Leslie?
I'm good. How are you, Abe? What's going on? Hold on. I'm turning off my phone. My people are calling and I'm turning it off so that everyone can get lost.
All good. I'm doing very well, thank you. Um, can you
Are
tell me
you
about?
named after? Can I ask you one crazy question? Who are you named after?
I'm named after my great grandfather. His name was Arnold.
I love it. I know it. It's a great name, Abe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Can you tell me about how you came to Palm Royale, if you were familiar with the book, and just how the show was presented
Was
to you?
was not familiar with the book at all. I got an audition and it came in and I read it and I was like, holy mother of God, it was that monologue at the bar. And I did the I was with my girlfriend. I always get great auditions when I'm like have no hair and makeup with me. Like I don't have any makeup and I have like nothing to wear in an audition. And I was visiting my friend in Ojai. So my friend Stacy read off camera. We did some janky audition. Um, and then they called me and they said, we want you to do it again. So then they sent me the same bar scene and then a scene when I sort of have this like freak out in the bathroom, sent me that scene. And that, so I guess that would be the callback. And then I read that in New York with my partner, who's an actor. His name is Sam. And so Sammy read with me, which is always fun. I always feel like I'm a better actor when I work with him because he's a really brilliant actor. But I read it and I just connected with Dinah's vulnerability. I think you see her as one thing. It's very easy to just compartmentalize her. And it was very important for me to make sure that I feel like she always has a mask on, that she's presenting the world what which she knows they want to see because she knows that nobody can actually handle the truth of it. So she presents that. She's very aware of how the world works, the truth of the world, all of it. There's no sort of silver lining around it. It's black and white for her. And though she presents everything's like sunshine and roses, and yes, we can do this, but it needs to be underneath for me, for Dinah, should feel like there is this coiled person who at any point could spring, like a jack in the box. That was like it kept being the image in my head for her was like she's a jack in the box, just feeling like she's being wound and she never knows when you never know when that trigger will go off. So always feeling like you're on the balls of your feet with when I'm playing her, and also this idea of keeping this fire stoking always underneath for her. She's covering it, but there is complete anxiety and feelings of not being enough and very vulnerable feelings, but she can't show the world that. So when you get to see the cracks in the facade became really important to me, and showing them in scenes as I'm discovering other things with these women, which is always like being in a lion's den with these women. So you can never you never can relax with them. So finding moments where the mask shifts and then putting it back, and which is kind of hard. It's hard work to do that. You have to sort of really craft that. And then you don't know exactly when it's going to happen because I don't know how Allison is going to say something or do something or how she's going to respond. So I felt very grateful to be in scenes with the women I was with because they're operating on such a high level that I just feel like it made me better. And it makes you rise up. And so I think it made everything get more complicated and more dirty and more messy. Because I think there could be a way to do this show, I think, which would be very surface And because it is surface and glitzy and a feast for the eyes and cotton candy and delicious, but underneath I think there's an ugliness to it. And yet, and then it's funny, but that's what great comedy comes from great horror, you know. And so wanting to make sure that you saw the real underneath this, and to find those moments where it boiled up was really important to me for her.
I was thinking I would describe the show as a comedy, but especially from the way you're talking about it, it sounds like, you know, Dinah's in a drama, just embedded in this comedy.
Well, it has to be, right? Like, it's the stakes are pretty high in this. And but I always think with comedy the stakes are high. You are never I'm never interested in comedies that are just like dumb, or just like, we're just going to do this. I always think smart comedies, always the stakes are high. I mean, Talladega, that woman, that was life or death situations for her. She's like, you know, when she says, I'm a driver's wife, that was like, I can't be like, you know, it was like Scarlett O'Hara, I'll never go hungry again. It was like that. So, and in a way, there is an element to Dinah. It's very similar to Scarlett O'Hara. I mean, that was something too. It's so funny when I'm doing these interviews, I'm like, oh yeah, because it was so long ago that we did it. But yeah, I remember I was watching, I watched Vivian Leigh and Scarlett O'Hara because there was an element of her survivor that I thought was very important. And her charm, you know, it's very disarming, but it's also, I think, underneath it's great pain underneath, that you can have a good laugh with her and she's really fun, but it's masking like great pain and great vulnerability.
You mentioned the look of the show, and I think it definitely is. I think you said a feast for the eyes. What is it
Yeah.
like working in this environment and just everyone, the hair and makeup and just the look of this era?
I I think that and luckily I don't think I understood how helpful it was going to be. But what John Carlos did, our production designer, and what Alex, our costume designer, did, is it immediately changed the way I held my body. And when we went in, I remember for the first fitting, it was a long fitting with her, and she had a whole palette out. And you don't know, right? You don't know who the person is. Sometimes you find her, and it all happened once I got cast. It happened really fast, and we're sort of shot out of a cannon. And I remember there was all this palette, and she had these blues in there. And we started putting her on, and I was like, it's not her. And I don't know why I knew it wasn't her, but then we went into yellows and creams and peaches and pinks. And you just start to put on costumes, and you're like, oh, there she is. And when I put on that wig, and randomly enough, those fingernails, I have like nubs for fingernails, but there was something in the way those fingernails and the way you held and that wig and that makeup, yeah, it just informs the way you sit, the tension in your body, the way you absorb from others what's happening in the scene. There's a real collectedness and an uptight nature that they had. You know, so it helped me with my idea of being coiled, I guess, of being held. The costumes, I didn't realize how helpful they were going to be in trying to create this woman for me, but they really, what Alex did for me was incredible. And what our hair and makeup team did was incredible. And then just being in those sets. I mean, when I walked into my house, and my pool was really crafted after, there's a Cornelia Guest picture in the Slim Aarons books, because I really looked at those Slim Aarons books. That was like my first, when I was starting to crack open Dinah, I ordered all the Slim Aarons books. And what I kept seeing, because they're so beautiful, right? Those photos, it's beautiful people doing beautiful things in beautiful places. But what I saw things that were off, that didn't feel as perfect as they looked. I just saw cracks. I was like, oh, I don't know if this life is so beautiful. And that really helped inform, I think, the road I started to travel down with Dinah, and the road of Palm Royale, that nothing ever is what it is, what you think it is with them.
You've been in this business for a while, and I know that your real, breakout role is in Popular. How has that show followed you through your career and influenced any of your choices since then?
It's so funny. I was with Carly Pope, who played my sister on it. We literally had dinner on Saturday night together. Um, I think, well, it informs. It gave me my first big break. It allowed people to, I think, believe in me, to go, okay, this girl can deliver. But also, importantly enough for me, that show was so beneficial to so many people. I still have people who come up to me and say, I watched Popular, it saved my life. Oh my God, I didn't know people were like me. And I don't think when we were doing it, we understood what the importance of what we were doing for kids in high school, a different way to look at what the high school experience could be. And then you have Ryan Murphy writing it, and his brain and his wit and his way of seeing the world. So I I love the fact that I feel very grateful that that is in my history. Um, and the diving board I jumped off of first. So funny the thing. The diving board that I got to jump off first. How is it informed? I don't know. I feel like I always get shows that are always looking about complex relationships with females. I mean, there was Popular, that I did the show with the amazing Bobby Harling, who did Steel Magnolias, and it was a show called GCB, and it was a bunch of women. And I'm like, so something in my life loves. I get lucky enough to explore relationships with women, and having this now, it's all exciting. I think you know everything is like, it's like a domino. Like, you need one. If you took one out, I wouldn't be where I am today. So if there was no Brooke McQueen, I don't think there would be a Dinah Donahue.
I know your next big project is season 3 of The White Lotus, and I want to be very
Yeah.
careful what I ask you about it. Did you watch the first 2 seasons as they were airing, and what was your take on the show?
I think I can say yes, of course. I watched, because everybody watches, and it's great television. So you're an idiot not to watch it. It's so good. Um, Mike White's brilliant. I mean, he's a brilliant man. The way his brain operates, how he directs, how he writes. I don't know how he has the bandwidth really to do it all. But yet he does. So I don't know. I feel really lucky. I don't know how I've gotten to be this lucky right now, but I am, and I'm here for it, and I'm grateful. Um, I don't know. It's great. It's great to work on such a prestigious show, um, but also to get to work with somebody like Mike and just say the words he says. It's like, he's so deep, and it just you. I feel like I'm getting lucky enough lately, because I've been working with so many great people that I feel like they're just, I hope they're rubbing off on me. I'm learning something. It just feels like you're in some like master class of acting all the time, getting to work. I did a movie with Robert De Niro, and I got to see him work up close. And I'm like, if you had told Leslie Bibb in 19 whatever 90 something when I was at William S. for acting school that you were going to be in a show with Kristen Wiig or in a show with Carol Burnett or in a movie with Robert De Niro or on a set with Clint Eastwood. I wouldn't believe it. You know, if you told me 4 years ago that you're gonna get the opportunity to do White Lotus, I'd be like, no way. So I don't know. It's really nice. I feel very lucky, and also I'm very proud of myself.
You should be. Well, before I let you go, we love awards here at Awards Buzz, and I'm curious if there is a show or performance that you've seen recently that you think is particularly awards worthy.
Oh, there's so many. I there's so many. I don't know if it was. I thought what Rachel Weisz did in Dead Ringers was fucking spectacular. And I don't know if she got the enough love. I don't think she got nominated for an Emmy for that or something. But like it to me, it doesn't compute what she did and what that show did. I think it was grossly undervalued, because that is some next level work. Um, I think Kristen's work and Palm Royale, especially the whole way through, but what she does in the final episode, I remember I said to her, I was sitting in the audience and I was watching her do this final scene at the beach ball. And it was like a masterclass getting to watch her work. She's a very generous scene partner. She may be one of my favorite scene partners of all time to be with. So Kristen, Rachel Weisz, who else? I always wanted Laura Linney to win something for Ozark. She got nominated, but she never won anything. And I think that was like watching Lady M in a TV show, like what she was doing and what Jason Bateman was creating in that show was like so next level. It's hard to say who should get this or who should win. It's like because it's who knows, but it's everybody. I mean, there's so many performances that are so amazing and so provocative and interesting. So yeah, I Laura Linney always sort of blows my socks off with whatever she does. What else have I been watching? When people ask me this, it's like someone takes my brain and they throw it in the garbage disposal, and I'm like,
You've given great answers. They're all very good choices, and I like that it spans. It's not all so recent, but it's a lot of within
yeah, no, no,
the
no. But I do think Rachel Weisz. I thought what she did in Dead Ringers was like, what are you talking about? Like, I remember Sam and I both were sort of gobsmacked by that and just going like, this is remarkable. Just absolutely remarkable. It's almost like it's also too, it's who is that amazing actress who was in Peaky Blinders? She played the sister to Cillian Murphy's character, and she's since passed away. I'm blanking on her name. But I remember watching that and being like, you see sometimes these performances and you're just like laid out by what these human beings make look so effortless and how complicated and interesting and the choices they make and when they go against the grain of that. I love it. I love actors. I love watching great acting. I just love them. I love them. We're a weird bunch. We're a bunch of nuts, but there's no other job I'd rather have.
Appreciate your admiration and passion for this, and it's so fun talking to you. I look forward to hopefully doing it again for the White Lotus, and wish you plenty of luck with this show and that one.
Okay, thanks, Abe. I appreciate it.